All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Eric, and welcome to today's information session from Neotech Academy. Before we went on the air officially, I was asking everyone in attendance as they were logging in to describe their ideal job situation, their ideal career, other than not having to work at all. Wouldn't that be awesome if we all just won the lottery, didn't have to work at all, right? But I got some very, I would say, common responses, such as flexibility, that's a big one, not having to go into the office all the time. Uh, Higher pay, getting paid what I'm worth for a change. And so we're going to be talking about some of those things today. And actually, all of those things I should point out. But you know what? To me, it all boils down to freedom. Some of you probably agree with that. That's really what it is. I mean, it's not having to be tied down to an office, getting paid what you deserve to be paid, spending more time with the family. It's freedom. That's what it boils down to if you really think about it. So here's what we're going to accomplish today. I'm going to give you some background. Well, we're going to give you some background on who Neotech is. We'll give you some information about the IT industry and what really is our life-changing boot camp. Now, if you don't know what a boot camp is, we're going to talk about that. We'll explain exactly how that works. But I want you to do this right here at the beginning. Write down that date you see on your screen there, which you should be seeing on your screen. September 15. September 15. That's going to be the date of our next life-changing. It really is. I think you'll see that when we go through this. And our students, some of our graduates who will be in attendance today, they're going to tell you the same thing. The date of our next boot camp, which is September 15th. It's a 6-month boot camp. We're going to talk about how this works. Comes with a money back guarantee, all that good stuff. You're at no risk essentially. And I'll tell you about how all that works in just a few minutes, okay? So now this will probably take about an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 30 minutes to go through everything to get all the information that you need, to get your questions answered, all that good stuff. So here's what I need from you. Type into the chat, if you would please, the letter Y, or just type out yes as your commitment to being here for the next hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes to get all your questions answered. And you know what? When you go to college, this is a lot less time than going to visiting a university. Wouldn't you agree with that? I mean, taking the time to drive to the university and going on the tours and all that stuff, that takes all day, sometimes a couple of days. For our school, it's just an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes to get all your questions answered. And so if you would just type in the chat, that your commitment for being here. All right, good deal. I see a lot of Y's there, a lot of yeses. I appreciate that. Now, a common question that people have almost as soon as I get started is, well, how much is it? What's the tuition? Folks, we're going to go through all of that, I promise you. But we have to do it logically and in order. Now, what I mean by that is if I just start throwing out numbers, it's not going to make any sense to you because there's no value behind that. I always like to say it's very similar to shopping for a house. And let's say you've got a real estate agent who's helping you out to find your house, and you tell your agent, only find me a house that costs $400,000. That's all I care about. Really? I mean, what about the bedrooms, the bathrooms? How many bathrooms, bedrooms? What's the size of the lots? Where is it located? What are the schools like if you have kids or you're going to have kids? So these are all things that are very important. So we will get to everything, I promise you. I will say this, though, in my opinion, at least, and you might see the same thing yourself later, this is probably the least expensive, most risk-free way to begin an in-demand career that you'll probably ever see. And I'm going to show you that as we start to go through that today, okay? You're not making any type of financial commitment today necessarily, but we do have a special offer that we'll talk about at the end. So we'll go through all of that with you folks, all right? Now, some of the fastest growing occupations, as some of you are probably aware, and that's one of the reasons why you're probably here, are in IT. For the next generation, everything is going to be tech related. Some of you are probably thinking, well, it seems like it already is, Jobs are available in pretty much all major cities, but remote is available also. So a number of you said, you know what? I want to work remotely. I want, or at least the flexibility of not having to go into the office all the time. Many of our students have received remote job offers. Now, working remotely is not a guarantee. But you know what? There are more remote opportunities available today than at any point in in our history. Now, if you are required to go into the office, a lot of companies offer some pretty cool work environments. You probably have seen some videos on YouTube or even TV shows and movies. You've seen how, nice a lot of these places are. They'll have gyms in many cases. A lot of them offer lunches, generous vacation time, of course, the higher compensation, the 401k, bonuses, insurance. In my opinion, IT careers really do check all the boxes. Now, we went through, obviously, the pandemic. During the height of COVID, when many parts of the world were essentially shut down, you know what? The IT industry thrived because there were already a multitude of remote jobs available, and COVID only increased that. And I would say this, speaking of the pandemic, the one silver lining, if you can call it that, with COVID was that it taught people that, tomorrow's not a guarantee. And how many of you would agree with that, by the way? Tomorrow's not a guarantee. And, in my opinion, again, it made people realize that they can't rely on the government. They can't rely on their company. And they really have to have a plan B. And a career in IT has become and will become, for a lot of people, that plan B. And some people, even a plan A. Now, let's address a few things right here at the beginning that are vitally important. And I'm going to repeat this a couple of times throughout our presentation. If English is not your first language, don't worry about it. Because we get a lot of folks where, they're in the US, they're in Canada, English is not their first language, it's not a big deal. Should you understand English? Should you speak some English? Yes. But do you have to be necessarily proficient? If English is your second language, I would just say don't worry about that. Don't worry about what your background is. I don't care if you're currently parking cars at a hotel or you're a bartender or what industry you're currently in that might be completely unrelated to IT. I saw some folks type, and I see this a lot, where folks type into the chat that they are in the medical field, like they're a nurse or they're a teacher, whatever the case may be. You might say, well, that's unrelated to IT. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your education level is. Also, make note of this, folks. Language, if English is your second language, don't worry about it. What's your background? Don't worry about it. Education level. Well, I don't have a 4-year degree, you might say. That doesn't matter. Or my education, my 4-year degree is not in IT. That doesn't matter. What about my age? I have folks all the time who say, well, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s. Folks, what the companies care about is, can you do the job? Can you do the job? Which we're going to teach you to do. Okay. By the way, I'm just curious, if you would type into the chat, what industry are you in right now and you're looking to make a change to IT? I always like to read that. So type that into the chat and I'll come back to it in just a couple minutes, okay? Now, a lot of folks, what they do is they start out when they get into IT in being a software tester. Now, let's talk about this. What exactly is a software tester? Well, this is a very rhetorical question, but so you don't have to answer it, in other words. But how many of you have ever used, Instagram, Facebook, Uber, TikTok, any of these applications? Everybody here has, right? So that's what you bring to the table. What I mean by that is you have used technology in the past. You know what a good application looks like. You try to use it and it works. So what we do is we give you some technical knowledge, some hands-on expertise on top of what you already know, put it all together, and with our help, you learn how to do software testing. Now, a software tester's role is vitally important because you are charged with making sure the software functions properly and it's free of defects. Now, think about this. If you're the company, you don't want to launch a flawed product and get killed with bad reviews and think of all the money it would cost. And folks, that's where you come in. So you come in and you help to prevent that. So your job is to essentially find the bugs, find the defects. All right, so what is a bug? What is a defect? It could be something really simple as, well, the background color was supposed to be whatever. It was supposed to be taupe. I'm just making up a color, whatever. It was supposed to be that, but instead it's white. Well, that's actually a bug. Maybe there's a syntax error. Maybe every time you try to use the application, it crashes. It can be anywhere in that range. So what software testers do is they find these problems, they find these errors before the customers do. Now, let me pause for a moment. Does that make sense? First, does that make sense to you folks? What a software tester does? You're trying to find the problem before the customers do. Now, a couple of questions. How will I know what the problems are? How will I know what these problems might be? Well, you will be given something called the requirements. Okay, so you'll have a list of requirements. You simply go through the requirements and you make sure it's like a checklist. You make sure everything, the application meets the requirements. Another question that people have is, well, okay, so if I find a defect, I find a bug, does that mean I have to fix it? No, good news. You don't have to fix it. That's what the developers will do. You'll simply be filling out a report and let the developer know what the problem is. Good news, right? By the way, let me go back to the chat here. So I won't say your name. I'll just say what you're currently in when I asked you for that earlier. So we've got some folks in education, hospitality, actually IT already. I see that. And I've noticed that we've had a lot of people, like I was saying earlier, not just in those, but in education. So we get a lot of teachers that are looking to make a transition to IT. But good. Well, the salaries are higher than the national average. We're going to talk more about that in just a second. Most major tech companies, they're looking for software testers. It's a great way to begin your IT career, and we'll teach you everything you need to know. Now, folks, don't do it now, but when we're done today, just simply go to any job board, whichever one you normally go to. Go to Indeed or maybe go to LinkedIn or wherever and look for opportunities in your area. And you'll see what I'm talking about as far as these starting salaries are concerned. So here's what we did. We created a boot camp that teaches people from scratch on how to become competent in and have a career in IT. And as I said earlier, folks, most people that are in IT, as far as like being a software tester, for example, they're not actually college graduates, as that's not a requirement in many cases. Employers, again, just want to know if you can do the job, which is what we train you to do. We train you in this skill set, and we even provide you some hands-on experience during our boot camp. So when you're asked during an interview, have you done this or that, you can respond by saying yes. So right now, think about this. You have no experience. But the reason we call it a boot camp is because we're going to give you all the experience that you really need to get started, to jumpstart your career. We'll give you experience on actual projects that you can put on your CV, on your resume. So again, imagine where you are now and where you'll be at the end of boot camp. If you are from a country that has mandatory military service, or I was in the military also, boot camp is where you learn a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, which is why we call it a boot camp, by the way. The bullets are flying when you're in a boot camp in the military, and you learn so much is thrown at you in a very short amount of time. That's what we're doing here. So things which seem overwhelming, when you look at your screen here and you see, software development, engineering, test, that seems like, what in the world is that all about? What is a quality analyst? What is a test lead? So the things that seem overwhelming right now, we teach you, and then we have you actually do it yourself, and that's really how you learn. That's called experiential learning, which, I'll reference that more in just a couple of minutes here. By the way, Course Report, which is a leading authority on IT education, what they did was they rated our QA testing bootcamp the best in 2023. So again, if you haven't done this, write down this date, September 15. That'll be the start of our next 6-month accelerated course. And folks, that's going to give you real experience on real projects. So you take the course and imagine where your life could be 6 months later. Getting the freedom that you deserve, giving you the pay that you deserve. I mean, when you look at where inflation is nowadays, I mean, you almost need a part-time job in addition to your full-time job just to pay for the eggs. I mean, it's crazy the way, prices are nowadays. And it's almost like, unfortunately, we're almost getting conditioned to it. We're conditioned to, $3.50, or almost $4 a gallon for gas. So if you think about it also, wages nationally haven't really kept up with the rate of inflation. So people are looking for something that's going to pay them more money. And that's why we get so many folks that are signing up for our boot camp. And we'll talk about how to do that, signing up for that in just a few minutes, okay? So after starting your career as a software tester, because you will be exposed to so many tools and languages throughout our program, you can use your new career as a kind of a springboard, into other career paths. So, you might start as, software tester, but maybe you go into Scrum Master. And again, you're looking at Scrum Master, and you're probably thinking, is that a rugby term? What exactly is that all about? But you'll learn that. You'll learn about what a Scrum Master does, what an ETL tester does, cybersecurity analyst. Some of you are probably already familiar with that. But again, it all starts with the boot camp, learning more in 6 months than it would take most people years to learn. And again, that's the whole purpose of a boot camp. But once you get started, here's the point. Once you're started, you're not limited in the path that you choose to go. So folks, what I want to do is bring on one of our co-founders, Ahmet. He's also one of our instructors, and he's going to tell you about, tell you a bit about his story, a little bit more about Neotech Academy, and we're even going to hear from one of our special guests today, one of our graduates. So Ahmet, you want to take it over?
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Let me take over. I will start by introducing myself. My name is Ahmed. I'm one of the co-founders here at Neto Academy. I'm also instructor here. So let me share my screen and go from the presentation. All right, here we go. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So, per Eric mentioned, we've already covered what is the bootcamp, what do we do here, what do we teach. I'm going to get into more technical details now, and I promise I'll try my best not to bore you guys. Again, as we talked about it, we have to learn, like, this bootcamp is tested and proven, and we have to do this in a logical order. And here's our order, how it works out. We start with manual testing. So I'm sure if you are in the market for a bootcamp, if you are looking for it, you've heard lots about a manual testing. Oh, don't worry about it. Like 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to learn about manual testing and you can find a job. There is a job called just manual testing, and the only thing is the manual testing does not pay as well as the automation testing, but you still need to know manual testing because every automation tester, every QA engineer is actually a manual tester, but not every manual tester is not a automation tester, right? So we start with manual testing, and then we move on to coding and programming. Here, we will be teaching you Java. Java is one of the most popular programming languages out there. And with the help of our instructors, our TAs, teaching assistants, we will be giving you lots of homework, a lot of fun stuff, and you will get to learn coding and programming. Now it's time to bind your manual testing knowledge and your coding knowledge into one. And what brings you is the automation testing. Now you will be able to automate all of this process. Again, you might be thinking, okay, what is it that we're going to be doing? Just like Eric mentioned, think about an Uber application. Think about any application. Let's say United application, you're going to buy a flight, right? What you do, you search for dates, you search for available tickets, you see, a couple of flights available, and you click the button and so on. So all of this process needs to be tested to see if there is any bugs, any problems, any issues are there. And with the knowledge of the programming that we're going to be providing you, you will be able to do this automatically. This will be automated. So what you see, again, I'm going to go with the United process. What you see on the web page, it's just the UI, right? This is the page, the front end of it. But there is also lots happening in the back end, and that will be also included here in our bootcamp. What is it? It's the database and API. So all the information stored, all the connections behind the different systems are also needs to be tested, right? And do we just teach you the front end testing and just leave you out there? Of course not. You will be a full stack QA engineer, which means you will be easily test the front end and the back end of any application provided. So this is really important. Obviously, we will give you all this information needed. We will give you lots of homework, assignments, group projects, and everything. But most important part, one of the most important part will be this is a career change program. So we are focusing on something really special here, which is to be to help you to find a job in this IT environment. And what you need to know is also you will have a brand new resume. We will go through the interview preparation. You will be exposed to many, I would say, thousands of interview questions from different companies on different topics. And again, our designated team, our designated placement team, that's what we call, and I'll get to that later, will be helping you with the resume building. We will make your resume tailor fit to your needs, your backgrounds. And then do we stop there? No. Our career placement will still continue till you find a job. Because again, this is what we want. We don't want you to just join here, learn some Java, learn some tools, and be done with it. We actually want you to be a successful QA engineer, software tester out there. So I'm going to move on to tools that we have. This might look a little bit scary. I know it's perfectly fine. But these are not even limited, all the tools that we teach you. But again, this is a bootcamp, and I can assure you at the end of the bootcamp, you can question me and be like, hey, let's check from the info session that we joined the first time on June 15, 2024, and see if I was able to learn all the tools. I can assure you, yes, you will be able to learn all of these tools, and you will be not only learning or knowing what they do, you will be proficient in all of them. There are Selenium, JUnit, Java, obviously, MySQL for database, Postman for API, and these tools are the top-notch tools that almost majority of the companies are using out there. So this will make your job finding process way easier because again, having these tools on your resume as a skill set will put you a couple steps ahead than other people out there. And for the questions and everything, we will have a section where, again, I'll get to answer your question with Eric. But if you have anything else, our admission team is available to answer your questions. Put it in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. Okay. So again, if you're out there looking for a bootcamp, or especially looking for a software testing bootcamp, these are the stuff that you need to be really careful about. First of all, everybody can teach it, right? Like if you have the material, maybe you can also learn from YouTube and everything. But what do we do here different? First of all, we will be providing you lots of real projects. You will get to be exposed to real projects with cross-team collaboration. So you will, here in Neotech Academy, we will put you in teams and you will get to see that simulation of real work environment and work on a projects. Of course, it's not going to happen right away. First, you need to learn the tools and all the technical knowledge, but this is really something really important. We will give you lots of software testing methodologies, how the software development happens from the beginning. So I know we have again, agile, what was it? I think we have someone who is already in IT, right? Like agile project manager. So they're aware of how this works, like what is agile, what is waterfall. We'll give you all the boring details about it, but at the end of it, I can promise you, it's only for your good. Another good thing about our program is we are offering this program online, so you can access it anywhere in the world. All of our classes are being recorded, so obviously we want you to join the classes live, which I'm going to get to the schedule, but you can always watch it on your own time too. This makes it available for you anytime, anywhere in the world. Another thing that I cannot emphasize enough is our mentorship program. So what we do have here, we have many experienced, seasoned software testers to help you with your questions. All of them are coming from different backgrounds. All of them are working in like different fields, different domains, and they have different practices, and they're here helping us to help you to find a job, to also, again, guide you in the process, because everybody's coming from different backgrounds, and we do understand your what you bring to the table might be so special, and it might just connect with the perfectly with a company. So this is really important. I already talked about the market preparation, resume building. This field requires a specific type of resume, and we will be there to help you with that. And also, there's something called mock interviews we do. This is also something that we're proud of. So in order for you to graduate from our program, all you need to do is pass the mock interview. That sounds easy, right? It is easy for those who's able to join the live classes, complete their homeworks, complete all their assignments, join the projects, also join and ask their questions to their mentors. But for those who doesn't do that well, it's not that easy. So in this mock interview, you will be having like a real setup, real interview on Zoom. And then you will get to ask lots of questions, everything that you've learned. And according to your score, you will either pass or take the mock interview again. So this is what happens. Another thing, the bullet point 7 right here is the wide network of recruiters. So this is going to be our batch 8. We've been doing this for a while. Just in case you forget, we're going to be starting on September 15th. And so far, you can understand, you can imagine that we have lots and lots of students out there actively working in top Fortune 500 companies, even like not necessarily Fortune 500, but like lots of alumni out there working actively. That's one of the networks we have. On top of it, we've been connecting with recruiters. So this gives us a variety of options that are jobs out there that is not even listed on the market, but we're able to fill it out with our students. So this is really important too. Obviously, our support is never going to just end it right there. So you find a job, you will be our student. Once you're a student, you are here forever, unless you don't want to be. But this is important because if you land a job, that doesn't mean that's your final destination, right? You can always change your job. You can always need support to get to climb the ladder to higher roles. You know, you can be a test lead, you can be a manager, and we will still be there to help you. This is something that we also promise. This is the schedule. So everything you see is Eastern time, New York time. Tuesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Wednesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. On the weekend, 11 to 3 p.m. Same goes on Saturday and Sunday. So we have designed this schedule just to accommodate for those who's actively working. And like we do understand you have your job, you have your 9 to 5, so you can at least join the classes. But some of you are working in different schedules, or maybe you're joining from Pacific time, you know, from West Coast, which is totally fine. What happens there? All of these classes, they are live and being recorded. And in these classes, again, we will be answering your questions, but they will available once the class is done. So if you miss any of it, or like let's say that Thursdays would never work for you because again, that's your family day, and you wouldn't want to just like give up that date, perfectly fine. You can still watch it later. But essentially, these are the time that we would like you to be available. Of course, we recommend you to be online during the classes, but if you're not, that's still okay too. Okay, so this is the schedule. By the way, I might have gone a little bit fast. If you have any questions, put it in the chat or wait for the last part because we're gonna get the questions and I can go over everything again, so with no issues. Now, I'm really excited to invite one of our alumni, Fulia. She needs to be here. Let me just promote her to panelists. I'm inviting her. So here you can ask your questions. Please select to everyone when you're asking your questions so that everybody can see the questions and we can just hear from her perspective how it went and everything. Let me just do one thing. Wonderful. Okay, let me stop sharing. Hello. We cannot hear you, Fulia. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, Fulya? Thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting me, Ahmet. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good as well. Really excited. We are starting our new
Yeah,
batch on September
me
5th.
too.
So we would like to hear more about you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Fulya, and I studied in travel management, and I was working in travel agencies in my country, original country. After coming to the US, I couldn't get a job in this field, so I had to change my way. And meet the boot camp. I joined the boot camp, and after completing all process, now I have been working for 1.5 months as a QA engineer.
Wonderful. Pretty.
Yeah.
And how do you like it so far?
Yeah, in the beginning it's a little bit stressful, but I believe it will be better.
That's wonderful.
Mhm.
So again, how was the process? Like, how did you hear about us? How did you hear about Niyate Academy?
I heard about Tunatic from my friends from the previous batch. He had a good experience, and I decided to join the boot camp. I just wanted to try, and now I'm here.
That's wonderful. And we have a question from Kavya saying that how long did it take for you to find a job after you graduated from Newtek? And I'm going to change it to after you are placed in the job market.
Yeah, I was in the job market in mid January, and I got my job offer almost 3 months later.
3 months later.
3 months later, yeah. The market was very slowly in those months, January and February, so it took some time.
Yes, so
But
3 months is actually some time. As Fulvio says, there was the market was not that good but at the beginning, but now it got better. And I mean, Fulvio is also
yeah,
that. But how many interviews did you have before this?
it was my first interview.
Oh, you were one and done.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes.
Amazing. Amazing. And what about your work right now? Is it remote or hybrid?
Hybrid. I have a hybrid position. I work 2 days in the office, and 3 days at home.
Oh, okay. So 2 days in the office.
Yeah, right.
Days did you choose? Which days do you go?
Sorry.
Which days of the week do you go to the office?
Monday and Thursday.
Okay, that's wonderful. That is so good.
Mhm.
And like starting the new job, that might be a little bit scary, but did you find the tools that you had here, all the things that we show you, helpful?
Yeah, especially SDLC classes, soft skill classes really helped to us. We had a lot of questions that you provide us. These questions very, very helped to us to getting ready interview. If you ensure you had gone all through these questions, you can answer the interview questions.
That's wonderful. So did they ask you to do like real work from the day one, or did they give you some type of training?
Yeah, they gave some training. Yeah.
You had to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me asking, what was the domain that you were
In
working?
retail company.
Retail company.
Retail company.
Wonderful. So guys, you can put your questions in the chat if you have any. If not, I'm gonna again like ask my questions to better understand how it goes for Fulia. And throughout the program, what was the again not what like did you feel like you had the necessary support from the instructors, from TAs, from the placement people here?
Uh, I would say all people, all instruction, all teacher are very, very helpful, because you have sometimes you have some silly questions. If you had no experience about IT or about coding, you will have a lot of questions, and it was there are always someone over here to help you.
I'm happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
minor connection issue, but now we can hear you.
Okay.
Wonderful. And do you work like a direct hire full-time employee or a contractor here?
Full time. I work full time. That's
Amazing.
nice. Yes.
So what type of benefits did they offer you?
I have full benefits package.
So it included like the dental, health,
Yeah, health, dental, vision,
401k,
everything.
all
Yes.
I mean
Yeah,
that.
I'm lucky for that.
But just to confirm, you had no IT background
No,
whatsoever.
no, never. I have no idea about coding, about IT. I was working in travel agency. That's it.
Wonderful. So like what about your English level? Was it always good or it kind of improved alongside the way?
Yeah, you're hearing my English right now. It's not perfect. We have some friends in our batch. They are speaking very well English, but I think you can do it. You don't need perfect English. Just you need to clarify yourself.
That's true. I agree with that. And you are exposed to many different
Mhm.
diverse backgrounds in the company too, right? Okay, we
Mhm.
have a question from Sophia is about what is your job title?
QA automation engineer.
Automation engineer. Again, since we talked with, I mean, Eric also mentioned there are multiple titles out there that directs the same job, and such as, you know, QA engineer, software tester, software quality assurance analyst.
QA analyst.
Yes, all the stuff that
Mhm.
we have is the same. We have another really important question. I knew this was going to come from Patricia. She's asking, are you satisfied with your salary? That's the first.
Of course, yeah, of course. It's close to six figure, I would say.
Close to six figures. That's good. So like compare again, the question continues with considering how much you spend in this bootcamp, it is a satisfying salary. So if it's, I mean, I can answer to that. If it's close to six figures, that would make you can easily make whatever you have paid for this bootcamp in maybe like less than a month. So that is wonderful.
Mhm.
Great, great, great. Any other questions? I'm also checking my notes. And guys, please, I'm gonna mention this again. I'm so sorry, but when you ask your questions, put to everyone so everybody can see, because there are some questions only directly to us. So you guys are not really uh able to see questions. And so I know this is really like new for you, but what do you think about the workload? Is it bearable?
I didn't hear, sorry.
The workload, like how much of a work do they make you do? You know, like how long, how many hours do you put in a week?
Yeah, I work it full time, it's 40 hours in a week, and we work 8 to 5. But you don't have to work exactly 8 to 5. If you complete your task, if you join the meeting, nobody says something. You left early or something. It's a little bit flexible.
That's wonderful. And we have another question from Alaric. It says that did you work full time when you took the boot camp? Like, were you working before?
I was working part time. Mm-hmm.
You were working part time.
Yeah, I
So,
was
for
working part
example,
time.
did you happen to miss any classes? I did.
Of course, I missed some classes, but we have videos, so you can watch every videos later.
But they're still available.
Mhm.
What about the mentorship program that we spoke so highly about? What do you think about it?
It was very good. They share all their experience with us, and it helped a lot.
Who
Yeah,
was your mentor again?
Faruk,
Mark was your mentor.
Faruk, yeah.
Mark happens to be one of our season.
Yeah, we talk about every Monday. Our mentor session was on Monday. Yeah, he shared all experience with us. Yeah.
That year that and like let me talk a little bit more about that. We do have our schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday, but we have additional sessions. We have office hours, mentor sessions. which I'm gonna get to that, and all of them are still recorded. So
Mhm.
even if you are not available those days, you can still watch them later.
Yeah.
Okay, so did your new job have to teach you new skills you didn't learn during the bootcamp? Like, did they provide you any new?
Yes, we will have we will buy a new automation tool, and I had no experience. I haven't seen it in bootcamp, so I will be learning with the other QA team
You-
coming months.
So it's not, you're not just limited to tools that we've taught
Of
you,
course.
be exposed to new tools. That's amazing.
Mhm.
We have another question from Patricia about if you go back to your country, would you think these are the skills that you can still use back in your country?
Of course, of course.
And I know the answer, but I just wanted to forward the question.
Yeah.
I can add on to that. We do provide internet, like we have international students too, and I know Fulya, she's from Turkey, and we have some students we were able to find a job in Turkey too. And since this is an international field, guys, like anyone out there, like if you know the tools, Java programming language, no matter where you go, it's going to be eligible. Like you can still find a job there too. Obviously, there might be changes in the salary, but regardless, this is still international, a global thing that we do. Wonderful. Let me see if we have any other questions here. I think that's pretty much it. I'm checking my notes too. And okay, so and would you be able to tell me like the language that they use, programming language? Your like maybe your team structure. How does it?
Mhm. Team structure. We have 4 QAs in my team, and we have a VP. He is responsible for the QA team. That's it. I was involved in a project right now, and we have 1 product owner and 3 developers, and we were actually 2 QAs, but one of the QAs left, so I'm only one in the project. So I'm trying to still learning some new things. I'm trying to get used to project. It's like that process.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We have some questions here. One of them is regarding international students, so I'll answer to that later. Would you recommend to take any courses before taking the bootcamp?
Not necessary. Bootcamp is perfect because our videos are perfect. You don't need any YouTube videos, I think.
Right, exactly. I mean, this
Mhm.
is what we're also aiming to do. We have designed our program for no IT background whatsoever students, right? So
Mhm.
that's why we start from the beginning, like what is a software, what is a hardware, then we build up to what
Right.
you are right
Right.
now.
But you need to take your time. You need to make your time for studying, for understanding classes. As long as repeat the classes, you will start to get used to it.
We are getting this question a lot, so I'm gonna ask, do you have any certification in this field?
No, I don't have.
Did they ask you any certification while you were
No,
in the interview?
no, they didn't ask. No.
Nice, yes. So we get this a lot. We are always asked, "Hi, do you guys provide certification? Are we able to get a certification?" Yes, you are able to. However, it's not really needed because your performance in an interview, that's what determines like that determines if you're going to be eligible for the job or not. Okay, so we have a question about if all, so let me convert this statement to a question. Did you have to buy any other tools or licenses outside of our, like within our program, or did they all provide it to you free?
Yes, they will provide it free. Yeah, provide
So
free.
exactly, we all provide all the tools here,
Yeah.
all the materials will already included in our tuition fee. So you have nothing to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all included. Okay, I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute if you guys have any other good questions, because this was great. Before we let Fulia go and I continue with the rest of the presentation. Uh, we're getting lots of thank you messages. Uh,
Thank you.
But yeah, this is where, okay, one last question before you go. So what would be the one thing that you would recommend to our potential students here?
Yeah, it's a long and tiring journey, to be honest. But if you plan your time and stick to it, it will go well. So the end will be beautiful and satisfying. You may have to sacrifice some sleep, maybe, I don't know. But if you want really, you can do it.
Yes.
It's a little bit hard, a little tough, but it's not impossible.
I mean, nothing in this world comes easy,
Yeah.
obviously, but when you, I mean, when you do an analysis about an investment of your time, 6 to 7 months, and that your career changes and you get into IT, I think it's worth it because again, I
Mm.
know I also stood where you are standing right now, Fulia, and also like all the students out there, I all the potential students out there, I know how it feels like you have questions, but you wouldn't know before you try it. We have a great question from Alaric. It is, do you think it is better not to work while taking the bootcamp?
It depends on you. I'm not sure. If you single or if you don't have kids, yeah, maybe you can work. I was working full time and I changed it as part time because I'm married. I have a kid, so I have to do a lot of stuff. I had to study lesson, so I think it's up to you.
That is so true. And also,
Mm-hmm.
like for those who's watching us, I can say that our admission team is also available to answer these type of questions according to your needs. Just like Julia said, you might be single, you might be married, you might have multiple kids, or like your job might be relaxed. We wouldn't know, but we are here to help you either way. So that's why it is kind of dependent on you. And everybody has a different pace in terms of learning, right? When it comes to learning, someone gets the stuff real quick. Somebody needs to review the materials a couple more times. It changes. I know I said last questions. Now we have one more question, and then I will let you go. What was your most challenging thing? What was the most challenging thing while learning the bootcamp?
I would say learning coding
Okay.
because I have no experience. In the beginning, it was really hard. I had more trouble to understand the coding logic. Uh,
How
I guess
confident are you feeling with Java right now?
uh,
On a scale of
maybe
1 to 10.
6 or 7 of 10.
Okay, on a scale 1 to 10, 6 or 7, that is really good. That's
Yeah.
that's our goal. Wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
But I rewatched the old classes again and again, all the time.
So the all the coding challenges, did they help you or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit.
wonderful. All right then. Thank you so much, Louis, for joining, and thank you all for your questions. We're gonna let her go, but if you have any other questions for Fulia, for our admission team, we will also share the information how to contact us. But yeah, that's all. Thank you, Fulia. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your
Thank
week.
you.
Uh,
Thank you. Good luck. Bye.
Okay, so now that Fulia is gone, I am just going to continue with my presentation. Okay, so what happened here? Julia was one of her alumni. She also didn't have any experience in IT whatsoever. And what happened at the end? She was able to finish her program, apply for jobs, got into interview, and found a job of her dreams, right? But how does that finding of a job of her dreams happens? Job placement. This is what we call it. And what does that include? So throughout the process, as I mentioned, in order to complete our program, you will have a mock interview. If you pass it, then your resume building process will start, and we will tailor fit your resume with your background to you. And obviously, throughout the program, we will give you lots of information about the job market, how it works, how to apply for jobs, when to apply for jobs, how to talk to recruiters, phone screening calls, the second round of interviews, and everything will be provided to you. On top of it, we will give you an extensive soft skill knowledge. Soft skill enhancement means you already have skills of your own, right? Like some of you are more talkative, some of you will be more technical. You know, you don't like to talk, but when you are giving a job, you'll just like to work as a lone wolf. And we will be enhancing these features on you and giving you, just on-spot feedback to make it better. We have already talked about the one-on-one mentoring. The one-on-one mentoring means that you will have a mentor assigned to you that you can ask your questions freely and like your concerns even after you graduate from our program. And you will have access to our alumni network, just like Fulya, just like many others. If you, again, if you're able to watch our previous videos, almost every session or almost every info session we have, we're actually inviting a one or two alumni to share their experience because we want you to see that they made it, and if they are able to make it, why wouldn't you, right? So this is the whole thing. And obviously, even after you get the job offer, we will still be there for you with helping you with the salary negotiation, getting the best maximum compensation out of that deal. It might not be the number, but the best PTO, best health benefits, all that stuff. Okay. So again, I'm gonna continue. This is like you can go to Glassdoor, do your own research. This might fluctuate a little bit, but this is what we're looking at. 6 figures. Why 6 figures? If you go and search for manual testing, the number is going to be lower. But again, you have the knowledge of coding, of Java, of other automation tools, and automating the process puts you in the higher spot of salary. So this is really important. I want you to understand that. The best way to understand, so yeah, we talked about the market. How does it look? How is it looking right now? I would say the best way is to taking a look at the offers. So I put together some offers here, but I had to black out some part because of the privacy reasons. And these are all offers that our students received directly. What is really important here in the job placement process, again, you might be new to this. You maybe in your life never had a corporate job, and that's perfectly fine. We will help you, we will guide you to get the best possible compensation. Again, this is a pretty new offer, May 28th. The number is 100K, and this includes like some yes, time off programs, some benefits, and the titles, as you can see, is changing. This is another offer. It's recent again. The annual salary is $95,000. So there was a question about whether or not our program, our tuition fees, enough or like is actually satisfying, which we will get to that. And this is actually a tactic, guys. We're hiding it because we want you to be exposed to all of this information. But I know some of you is already like, okay, we need to know the pricing. This is why we are here. It's coming, and I promise you, we have a special discount for you that's going to help you to change, make a decision here right now. This is another one. Let me go. Another offer, 100K. We have this one doesn't really look good, but 90K here. An offer, 100K. Like there are many different offers out there. This is another one at high end of it, 120. So why wouldn't you be available for this too, right? These are some of the companies that our alumni is actively working on. Obviously, we have this idea. Oh, so the bigger is the name, I'm going to be happier. I wouldn't say that's true. We have really fun stories about the Fortune 500 companies versus startups, which we will guide you to. You'll have your questions about, hey, I have multiple offers in hand. What am I supposed to do now? Which one should I take? Our placement team will still be there to guide you. So I'm going to give the microphone back to Eric. Let me stop sharing. And he's going to continue with the rest of the presentation, but I'll be here and I'll answer your questions.
All right, thanks, Ahmet. So folks, as we've been saying, your education level is irrelevant. If English is your second language, that's irrelevant. What your background is irrelevant. What your age is irrelevant. And think about for a moment a pilot or a surgeon, really, or anyone in a specialized career. How do they get trained? They get educated, of course. They get trained, they get shown what to do, and then they actually do it hands-on. And again, we were talking about this earlier. That's called experiential learning, which studies show that it's the most effective way to learn anything. Training, then hands-on. And that's what we believe in, and that's how we teach. Let me ask, how many of you know someone who got a degree and they aren't even working in that field? I'm going to check the chat over here. So how many of you know somebody who, they got a degree in some field, but they aren't even working in that? And I have family who did that. They spent tens of thousands of dollars to obtain degrees, and they actually have never worked in those fields. Check out the average cost of tuition these days, in the US. And when you throw in all the extras, like room, board, supplies, other expenses, you're looking at on average over $36,000 a year. Yeah, you're right, Patricia. Too many people. As she just typed into the chat there. Too many people can relate to this, spending all this money and they're not even working in the field that they have the degree in. If you go to a private university, I mean, it's totally insane, the cost, $50, $60, $70,000, per year. Now, of course, you can get scholarships, you can get grants, but what if you don't get a scholarship? When it's all said and done, you can be looking at over $200,000 after you get your degree. And is the university even obligated to help find you a job? No, they're not incentivized to do that. When it comes to boot camps, the average boot camp tuition is over $13,000, which is unattainable for a lot of people. So here's what we've done just to help people get their new career and really their new life started. We have the tuition broken down into two parts. And I want to walk you through exactly how that works, okay? So first is let's just call this the regular tuition, which is only $52.49. Not $40,000 a year or anything like that, $52.49. We have what we call an early bird discount, which expires on July 1st, and that takes an additional $400 off. And so that brings the tuition down to $48.49. Now, we would love if everyone on this webinar became one of our students and ultimately a graduate, but a boot camp, as a lot of you are aware, it can be cost prohibitive for a lot of people. So to help out with the cost of the tuition, we came up with something that was very creative, a creative way to make it attainable for most people. So instead of being responsible for the entire tuition up front, we partner up with you. So you just pay a portion of the tuition spread out over 7 months. We then help you find a job after graduation. You then pay, now here's how this works, you pay a one-time placement fee of 85% of only your first month's salary. And even that's split up over 4 months. So again, rather than paying your entire bootcamp investment up front, we're partnering up with you. So now we're on the same side of the table. Most boot camps, most education, you're on the opposite side of the table. We're on the same side of the table with you because we're helping you actually find that first job. So would you agree then that it's in our best interest to not just train you, but help you out in that job search? Of course, because we're incentivized to help you get hired as quickly as possible for that job that's most appropriate for you. Now, you might be eligible for some additional discounts with your referral's name. Just be sure to mention your referral name in the application form. And here's the thing, the tuition keeps going down. It keeps going down. So you have a referral, that's one, another way to get the tuition even lower. But let's say you sign up with other people. Let's say you sign up with a group of 2. Now this has to be someone that you know, not somebody you just met on our webinar here. But you sign up with a friend, for example. Each student gets an extra $150 off if it's a group of 2. Group of 3, each student gets an extra $200 off. Groups of 4, contact us, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. And we'll let you know what we can do for you as far as that goes. Now, why do we encourage groups? Because you can motivate each other. You can help solve problems. You can do homework together. When it's all said and done, you might be able to help refer each other to job opportunities. So it's like going to the gym with your buddy. Here's a big question. What if I change my mind later? Well, there's no deposit. There's no application fee or anything like that. You don't pay anything until the boot camp actually kicks off. And then you can cancel for free anytime until the boot camp starts on September 15th. And by the way, it might seem like a ways into the future, September 15th. Here we are now. What's today? June 15th. You're like, well, yeah, that's a couple of months away. But it'll be here before you know it. And there are some things that you want to do that will help you out with in preparing for your classes prior to the classes actually beginning on September 15th. So not waiting until the last minute is really important. So guys, you can't go wrong. Money back guarantee in writing, 100% refund. That's if you decide to leave anytime until October 15th. So a 30-day money back guarantee in writing. So let's say you sign up, you enroll, you're taking classes. You can be a month into it and then decide, you know what, IT is not for me. I don't feel I'm the right fit for this. No questions asked, 30-day money back guarantee. You really can't go wrong. There's no risk. That's why I was saying at the beginning, this is in my opinion, the lowest, one of the least expensive, let's just call it that, most risk-free ways to begin an in-demand career that you'll probably ever see. Number of ways to contact us. You can see on the screen there, neotechacademy.com/bootcamp. You can schedule a call also by going to neotech.live/call. Make mention, if you go on this one, if you're not ready to call, you can simply submit your interest right here, neotechacademy.com/apply. Make mention of your reference name and your discount code, okay, if you have one. And that will, guys, it's going to take you about a minute to do all that. We're not talking about a lot of time here. To simply fill out the form, it's like a minute. Take the time. It could possibly change your life. All right. We encourage you to schedule a call because we do get high call volume. So that's our preferred contact method. We are actively working on opening up some more slots. If a slot isn't available tomorrow or very soon, don't worry. You'll still get the discounts that we talked about today. It's not your fault that a slot wasn't available right away. Or just email us and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Now let's do a comparison. Why join Neotech Academy? Let's compare what we do with doing it yourself, being self-taught, going to university, online courses. So what does this look like and how does this work exactly? Sorry about that. So Neotech Academy, our boot camp is 6 months. If you're self-taught, well, who knows how long it's going to take? It could take you years. I mean, I think that humans are by nature procrastinators. I have a buddy, I always mention this. He's been telling me for like 10, 15 years, he's going to read War and Peace. The last time we talked about it, he was on he's still on chapter 1, so people will always say that I've got time to do this later. Then they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and wondering where all the time went. University, 4 years or more, us 6 months. Online courses are self-paced. Again, it could take who knows how long. Learning self-taught, well, you're learning by yourself. You're learning from yourself, essentially. Well, you know what to teach yourself. With us, it's all hands-on with people who are actually doing it. People like I met who are, and our other founder, Ilion, who are actually doing it in real life while also teaching. University, your learning is not very interactive. You might have, 200 people in the room there. Online courses, unsupervised. If you're self-taught, are you really going to be an industry expert trainer? No. University, it's questionable. When I was in university, I remember professors who were teaching business classes who had never started a business. They know things in a theoretical sense, not in a practical sense. Our trainers are actually doing it in the real world. I won't go through all of these. You can see them up here for yourself. The content is market driven, which can change. So if you're learning by yourself, what you thought was important to learn, to know, might not be all that important. So we stay ahead of the curve. We try to get you learning the things that we know will be sustainable, that will still be relevant down the road. Mentorship, well, you don't have any. You're teaching yourself. University, Again, you might have too many students per faculty, online courses, no mentorship. With us, it's one-on-one mentorship. You really can't go wrong. Our tech support, nearly 24/7, university setting, obviously is going to be very limited and really none for the other two. So hard to go wrong with Neotech Academy. It's a proven system. We know what we're doing. And this is all we do. I mean, this is not Neotech Academy where we also teach people how to drive trucks or slash bartending school. This is all we're doing is teaching people who have no experience in most cases getting a career in IT. We have hundreds of graduates out there in the IT workforce. You heard from one of our graduates earlier. And again, you're learning from people who have actually done it. It's not theoretical, which is the way that you want to learn. That's really how you learn. Hands-on, learning from people who have actually done it. All right, folks, I'm going to bring Amet back on, and we're going to get to all of your questions, any remaining questions. I know a lot were answered just a moment ago. So just fire away with any questions, any remaining questions that you might have.
Yes, please. And I might have missed some questions there, so feel free to ask it again. But the ones that I'm seeing in the chat, let me start from the beginning. The sponsorship in USA question. So I have realized I didn't mention one thing to be eligible to work, to actually find a job in US is you have to have a work authorization. So if you are a student or if you are on a tourist visa here, this program might not be the best for you because again, it's pretty hard for you to be getting a sponsorship or like any visa status. But if you are in the process, that's still okay. But yeah, we still usually have three conditions. One of them is work authorization. The first, the second is English, English level, a certain type of level where you can understand and you can also talk about yourself. The third is the dedication. You have to dedicate yourself to this field for 6 month program. So that's really important. So for those who is planning to move from abroad to US and looking for looking for a sponsorship, it is not easy. So I'm going to be blunt about it. And that's why we won't be able to directly help you with that. We can, of course, answer your questions, guide you, but my suggestion is for you to have the work authorization already to start. So I'm gonna go back to the questions. How long does the bootcamp takes from day one to the end? Our program is again 6 month worth of classes. This is what we do. However, if there is a vacation time or if there are any holidays, that might extend the program in total. So that's why we don't usually like give like, okay, this is the date, this is the graduation date. It might change slightly, but it takes 6 months. That's the answer. Is there a faster paced learning or will I be learning with everyone in my bootcamp batch? It's going to be available for everyone. So our live classes happen on the schedule that I have already shared. Is it okay if I share my screen? All right. Thank you. Let me go back to the schedule so that we are on the same page there. I'm gonna go right back. Okay. There we go. So this is the schedule. Live classes are happening here, 7 p.m., 10 p.m., Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. However, yeah, unfortunately, we don't have like a specific program where you can watch the classes on your own. You have to wait for the live classes. But if you have some type of background, obviously the learning process will be a lot faster. And again, if you miss any of the classes, you can still watch them later. We will have the teaching assistants available. So if you have any questions about certain type of coding problems or any technical issues, our support team will still be there to help you. So let's see, 6 months learning and you have to pay in 6 months too. Do you have a program where you can pay in 12 months? So this is a payment related question. Let me open up the slide to just go over our payment plan, how it works. So per Eric mentioned, we don't really ask you to pay everything up front. What we do is like we divide the risk between you and our program. What do? We want you to understand that there is a tuition fee and that fee covers, you know, everything that is within the tuition part. And when you find a job, I'm not even saying if, it's a matter of when. When you find a job, that's the only time we ask for the 85% of your first monthly salary. We have tested various options and we have decided this is the best of best interest, best for our students. Why? Because when you find a job, and considering that your job is, you know, around six figures, it really doesn't hurt you to pay the 85% of your first monthly salary. And again, it's a one-time fee, and you don't really have to pay it everything up front. You have to complete your first month, you get your salary, then you can pay that part. But throughout the program, we offer 7 monthly installments, which are, again, as you can see, is like coming to the 693 per month. And this is interest free, nothing additional. If this is still hard for you, like I can understand that, but like this is the maximum amount we have. However, if you have any special conditions, please feel free to contact our team, our admission team. We'll be there to answer your question regarding to that, to see the best available program for you. But again, this is an in-house installment program that we are providing. Another question we have from Lensby is are jobs usually permanent positions or contractor positions? And what are the continuing education requirements like this in the field? The first question is the jobs can change. We have permanent positions, like, I mean, there's no such a thing as permanent position, but direct hire, and you know, you are I would say relatively safe for you with your job. We have contract positions, contract to hire positions, and again, we will be guiding you there too. But one thing is really important: even though that you get an offer for a contract positions for 6 months, we will still advise you to look for another job, because the best time to look for a job when you already have a job. So these are all important stuff. Is our school recognized by other schools? I don't know like how to answer that, but yes, like when it comes to like we do provide a certification. We are well known. We have like again hundreds of alumni out there actively working. So I think that would be enough. Uh, yeah, I just like Sophia asked about the placement fee. Once again, placement fee only happens when you find a job. Let's say you completed our program, you paid $693 a month for 7 months, right? You completed the program, you're in the job market, like a month, maybe or two. Then you find your job, you get your first paycheck after a month. Then that's the only time we knock on your door and be like, hey, this is the fee. Obviously, we don't want you to I mean, we want you to enjoy your first salary, you know, that fancy lifestyle, but that's why we give you the 4 monthly installments. So that's how it works, rather than just, you know, having a big chunk of money. Because again, this also proves that we will be after you. Because okay, think about this way, just from business perspective, we make money on when you actually find a job, so we would do our best to actually you know, place you in a high paying IT job. And the highest higher the salary, higher our payout is. So that's why this is the business mindset that we have, which also is a risk-free thing. Let me see. I have okay, is after this bootcamp, when is the next date for our following bootcamp? It's going to be, I mean, I have to check with my team, but like the September 15th, we still have some time for it. You can ask our team, but it's probably going to be around February, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to check. I might be speaking too early about it. But what we do with each bootcamp we have, we put our main focus on that bootcamp, and we usually give out the times when we are sure that our current bootcamp is ready to go on action with the market and everything. Yes, so so 85% of the placement fee, is it before and after taxes? Great question. This is a good testing attribute, I would say. It is before taxes, so it's going to be the gross salary. Let me see. There's another question from Sophia about if we got a contract job for 6 months and we have to pay 85% of first month salary, and then is it, or do we have to pay it again? No, you don't have to pay it again. The 85% is a one-time fee. We'll still help you with other jobs. However, like after a certain time period, we might ask for like a smaller increment of fee or to cover our expenses. But again, this program, like our main goal is for you to be happy. So the 85% will be covering majority of your job application. So even in the future, we will be covering that part. Patricia, okay, we have another question from Elric. Can you still register early for the February cohort? Our registration might not have started for this, but we can definitely talk. And for any type of early bird discounts, you can get more information from our team. We can put you in the short list, I'm sorry, for the waiting list, and we can see from there. Patricia is confused about the total amount for the whole bootcamp. So once again, our tuition fee is $4,850. Let's round it up, which you pay from September till March. I'm sorry, till like April, right? In the increments of $693 per month. So you went and you finish the program and we got your resume ready. We put you in the job market and you are looking for jobs, and then you land the job. That's the time that you pay 85% of your first monthly salary, just the 1 month salary. So let's say that you find a job around 100K, right? That would bring your monthly salary to 8,000 something, and your placement fee would be 6,000 and some cents, which will be paid in 4 monthly installments. So that is the difference. Again, this is a risk-free situation because once you actually get that job that pays you $8,000 a month, it really doesn't bother you that much to pay some extra. But I know even right now, like in order for you to give like that relief, we offer in-house installments up to 7 monthly installments. And if you opt out for a different version, like you can pay in 2 months, 3 months, even in a single month, that's up to you. Let me see. Yeah, that seems like, let me check my notes from the previous questions we had. I think that's pretty much about it. Eric, do you think I answered all the questions?
It appears that way. I think there was a little bit of confusion about the tuition, but I believe you cleared it all up. But any more questions, just let us know.
Yes, please. This session is also recorded. It will be available to you right after we finish. So, and again, a couple things that I want to finish on is, guys, this is like we have the 30-day refund policy. I'm really confident about this because again, you have nothing to worry about if you feel like this program is like, if you're not sure this is the right program, come and see for yourself. In the 30 days, at the end of the 30-day, you can see that, okay, this is not for me. I didn't like Ahmed. I didn't like this teacher, or you would love it. Either way, you are more than welcome to. And there is no risk that you're taking. Like the worst thing can happen after 30 days, you decide to drop off. You would learn lots of knowledge about Java, software testing. You get to meet us, and that's it. So that's why I would recommend for you to come and try and see, then look after what happens. And obviously, if you bring your friends, if you convince your friends, like your family members, you will be eligible for these discounts too. But what I can wish is to see you in our classes and get to talk more about software testing. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Eric, for a great presentation.
Thank you, Ahmed. And thank you, everyone, for attending.
I'll see you guys next time I see you.
All the best. Take care.